News, I'm Ben Thomas. President Trump's trade war narrowed focus today on China, pausing tariffs on most nations for 90 days, but hiking taxes on Chinese imports to 125%. Stocks surged on the news, the president saying,
"There's a lot of winning out there, and we're having a good day in the stock market, as you can see, an all-time record day, and hopefully it continues. I think it should. Our country's stronger than it's ever been."
The S&P soared 9.5%. The Dow gained nearly 3,000 points, while the Nasdaq jumped 12.2%. Lisa Dwyer has more reaction.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says that Trump caved to mounting pressure on tariffs.
He is reeling, he is retreating, and that is a good thing.
And that Trump's approach to tariffs has caused too much of a roller coaster.
This is chaos. This is government by chaos.
President Trump disagrees.
You know, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, everybody knew you had to do it, but they never had the guts to do it. It does take guts. It even takes guts for our country to go through it. That's why I say be cool. They were saying about, see, just be cool. It's going to work out. It's going to work out, and it's working out. I can tell you, working out maybe faster than I thought.
I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Another legal decision going Trump's way. A federal appeals court halting a judge's order requiring thousands of fired probationary workers be reinstated. The decision comes a day after the Supreme Court blocked a similar order from a judge in California. Iran's president has again pledged his nation is not after a nuclear bomb ahead of talks between Tehran and the U.S.
Reformist President Masoud Pezeshkian going as far as dangling the prospect of direct American investment in the Islamic Republic if the countries can reach a deal. The comments are a departure from Iran's previous stance after its 2015 nuclear deal with world powers, in which Tehran sought to buy American airplanes, but in effect barred U.S. companies from coming into the country. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
This is AP News. In Kentucky, watching and waiting for rivers to recede.
Frankfort, where the Kentucky River crested at a near record level Monday, residents like Susan Williams are returning to flooded out homes and facing months of cleanup.
You have to pull the drywall, you have to pull the insulation, you have to let everything dry out, and then start again.
In Louisville, National Weather Service meteorologist Ron Steves says the Ohio River that runs through the city will crest Wednesday.
The stage is expected to be right at 37 feet on the upper gauge and at 68.4 feet on the lower gauge. And just for historical perspective, that's the highest crest we've seen on the Ohio since 1997.
And he says up to an inch more rain is forecast from Wednesday into Thursday.
It's not expected to be enough to cause any new flooding or any new rises on the rivers.
I'm Julie Walker.
And I'm Ben Thomas, AP News. Thanks for listening.
PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. Happy day, Tirawamian greetings to Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your island news from a beautiful place with Pacific views. It's always so much fun on Good Morning, Marianas.
It is 7:35 on this Thursday morning here in Saipan. You're looking live down at Beach Road in Oleai, where everything is moving and shaking because all of those cones are gone. GPPC getting it done. They have until August. Wait. We're not giving them more time. They have until April 16th, not August 16th. We almost gave them a free extension, but they're going to be getting things done all the way from Chalumpiao to Garapan. should be done in just about a week. Do you think they can do it? I sure hope so. I've got faith in them. And you know who else I have faith in? I have faith in the good folks over at DYS because they have come here caffeinated and ready to go this morning. They're going to be on with us telling us about how you can take care of your kids, I'm sure. And believe me, I'm probably somebody who needs that advice. But I'm so glad that I get to have you guys in studio with us today. Thanks so much for being here. And well, let's get started. Who wants to be the ringleader? I'm listening to you guys as you're in here today, and I'm like, I don't know who the boss is right now because they all seem to take a little bit of control over each other.
Oh my God. Good morning, everyone. Mariah here from the Division of Youth Services, Child Protective Services. And along with me today,
hi, good morning everyone. Christina Aldon, also from Child Protective Services.
Wanisha Villanueva, also from Child Protective Services.
Well, it's so great to have you guys in here with us today. And I'll tell you what, it's only been a few minutes that you guys have been here, and it's already been fun. So I'm really excited. So I know you guys get to do a lot of stuff, and this is a big month for you guys as well. And it's a good time for the community to kind of really hear a lot about what you guys do with DYS and Child Protective Services and all that. Maybe we could start by talking about what April is, and why it's such a big deal to get you guys out here.
April, yes, April is our month.
Oh, wait. Let's do one thing.
Whoa.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta tell you, so these microphones, these are Egu microphones. They get jealous when you're not nearby. All right, so here, let me move this out of the way and get this a little bit closer to you too, so I can get some really good audio. So the closer you get to the microphones, looking at you, Mariah, the closer you move to the microphone, the better we're all gonna sound, and everyone's gonna be able to hear what you're saying a lot better.
okay.
And by the way, thank you guys for coming here. This is so great to have you guys here.
Yes,
Yeah, we're so honored to be here. This month hits close to home for us, so you want to tell them why, Nang?
Yes, April is Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention and Awareness Month. This year is, our theme for this year is doing things differently, moving from the challenge to the change. We just wrapped up our whole 6-day softball tournament last week at the Capitol Hill, which was a very successful event. We had over 12 teams, a lot of youth involved. And then last Saturday, we also had our Family Fun Day in collaboration with the Coalition, which was their Safe Jamboree. Very good turnout. So yeah, we have a lot of things lined up for this month. As a matter of fact, tomorrow at 7 a.m. we will be waving. So this year we did it a little different. We started waving at 7 a.m. at different schools. So for tomorrow, Friday, we will be at 7 a.m. at Francisco Middle School and Saipan Southern High. So we encourage all the families, if you're swinging by or dropping off your kiddos, stop on by, honk, please. Honk or get down and wave with us.
And what time?
Yeah.
We start at 7 a.m.
Wow, just like when everyone's dropping the kids off and all that stuff.
Yes, so we do it every Friday and every Tuesday at the different locations, different schools on the island.
Wow, and so that's Francisco M. Sablon, so like old San Antonio.
Yes.
And Saipan Southern.
Yes,
tomorrow. All right. Nothing Kobler.
We did Kobler last week.
All right.
So next week we're gonna take a break because of Holy Week and Good Friday.
Oh yeah.
Then the following week we will be on Tuesday at WSR Elementary and Hopwood Middle School. And then that Friday on the 25th we'll be at Oliyah Elementary School, Garapan Elementary, and Marianas High School. Wow, that's 3 schools in one day at 7 a.m.
Yeah, how big is your team? I mean, does that mean just one of each of you at each school, or like you've got to have a lot of people that work with you?
Well, there's currently 9 of us under CPS, but everybody from DYS, there's 5 units, so everybody, if they can, they'll show up and support. And then we have partners that swing by to come on.
And the schools too. The schools have been showing out this year.
Yeah.
When was that? 2 days ago, Dandan Middle School came out. They joined us. It was a really, really big turnout. it's amazing. Thank you, PSS.
Yeah, the students had their own banners, and it was they're doing signs and a little decoration on their school gates, which is just spreading awareness, and it's a lot of fun to see.
No, I love it. Now, look, with like DYS and Child Protective Services, like, what brought you guys in there? Like, what was the draw that brought you to do this job?
With us, I think maybe, growing up in the community and like the way we grew up, I think just like shifting everybody's perspectives and mindset, I think I'd say is what brought us to this job. I think that everyone here at CPS or at DYS, I believe that everyone just wants to make a difference. I see that because we already know we're not going to be millionaires unless if Bee's listening, if she wants to try. But we already know that we're not going to be millionaires in this job, so we're not in it for the income. We're all in it for the outcome.
Well, if you shop on Temu, you can feel like a billionaire. That's what they keep telling me on this song. But it's got to be, your job's got to be, when I think about it, not knowing a whole lot about what it is, everything that you do, it seems like it's got to be a job that's got to be kind of a little bit of a roller coaster where you can feel so good and seeing some of the change that you do, and then it's also got to be kind of sad to see some of the stuff that you guys have to deal with all the time. And how do you manage that on a regular day-to-day basis?
I think that we have a very strong support system, not only at home. A lot of us have the support at home, but also within our program, within our unit. We see each other as a family, and that's how we cope with everything going on. We like outside of work, we still make time to get together at the beach or whatever it may be. We bring our families together, and I think it's just always showing out for each other. And I'm just so proud to say too that I'm so happy to have like the best team. So shout out to CPS and DYS, but CPS, shout out to you guys. You guys are the real MVPs.
Yeah, I think it's really the support and the teamwork we have, even though we're such a small group. Everybody taking care of each other, just putting in more. And really at the end of the day, I think it's just a passion. Like she said earlier, you're not going to make $1 million doing this every day. But it's the passion, and it's, not every case is a success, but, making a difference one child at a time is really what it is.
Yeah. And also like our partners too, we really cannot do this job alone. And in addition to that, our community also, we really, really need our community. And that's why this theme this year, like Christine said, it hits different. Doing things differently, moving from the challenge to the change. It's really bold, and it's good because our kids need that. This is way more than a month to spread awareness. It's a movement. And this is what our kids need. Our kids need people like us to stand up for them and invest in them. And they need also our community. We need our community. We cannot do this work alone. And so we believe that the community is our safety net. So we want to thank our community, and we want to challenge our community to keep showing up and keep helping us do this work.
Well, that's great. I can't imagine that, again, you'd have to have that support. And so, like, I have good days and bad days, and there's some days, like, when I come home, I want to share some of that stuff with my wife and everything, and even with the kids with some of that great stuff. But there's got to be some limits where, like, I can't share, because I don't want to share some of that burden, some of that stress with them. Probably not my kids at all, but, like, even talking with my wife. And I imagine that some of that's got to be some of that comes with the job for you guys too, like when you go home. So, like, managing that's got to be a tough thing. And, like, maybe you're going to teach me about a better way to deal with it, listening to you guys. So it's really good. What's one of the things that you guys love the most about what you do?
For me, I like to say that at DYS, it's not hard work, but like hard to work, because that's really all it is. When we show up to someone's home, they already think, oh, it's very ugly. And, you know, so we're there sometimes to make it ugly, but sometimes to also tell them, like, hey, we're going to make it ugly for now, but you need help, and we're also here to help you make it better. So, yeah, I think a lot of that, and what drives us the most is maybe the fulfilling, like,
yes,
sense, like that we helped someone, and knowing that someone is better because of us. I think that that's what drives us the most. Like, also seeing like all the families we're helping, like, I think that's our motivation.
Yes, and I think even just the outcome, you know, we've all had our different cases, and 4 years ago, you went into a home, and I'm just gonna play a scenario for you. We removed a child. She's now graduated, you know, off island in college, and still keeps in touch with us.
Wow.
That's the outcome. That's the beauty, is, you know, we were able to provide for 3 years services to that child, and look, you know, she was able to break the cycle, make something out of herself. And those are the successful stories, you know, and I guess that's, for me, that's the drive.
Wow. You know, I think so many of us are fortunate that we've had pretty easy, you know, had it pretty easy growing up. But I also think that probably everybody, it's all relative to what your experience is. Like, there's some things that each of us probably went through that probably were harder for a lot of other folks, or easier for a lot of other folks too. So balancing that and being able to share that kind of stuff, the amount of empathy that you guys must have has to be like a 10 out of 10, the scale. And the depths of your patience has to be pretty substantial as well. I'm guessing you guys have a lot
Patience
of. I'm
is
guessing
a very big thing.
you guys probably have like you guys probably make the best friends for people because of your patience.
We have to have patience, Brad. Come on.
I mean, really. I mean, some people don't, you know, and you know, especially, you know, knowing the impact of what you're doing and how significant of a role that it plays in the lives of the youth and even the families afterwards. After, like you said, you might have to make it ugly at the beginning, but it's kind of like a healing process, and maybe teaching people how to do that, who maybe didn't get to learn from themselves because they didn't have the right role models.
Yeah.
Exactly. Of course, always having compassion. You have to have compassion. In order to help that family or a family, you have to have that compassion and that energy and that drive to want to help.
Now, do you guys do just Saipan? I know the the organization is everywhere, but do you guys go to Rhoda and Tinian as well, or do you guys just is your group here just here in Saipan?
No, we have offices on Tinian and Rhoda. Shout out to them too, because they're showing out this month also, and year round, of course. But no, we do have services available on Rhoda and Tinian too.
Do you guys, when there's it doesn't happen often where there's kids up north, but do you guys ever make your way up to the Northern Islands? Like, does anybody have any kids up there? Yeah.
No,
There's
not yet.
No kids in Poggen, no kids in Alamagan. No, okay.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay, that's cool. All right.
Keep it that way.
Nice. All right. All right, so what else do you guys have going on this month?
It's really just the wavings, and you know, we also have our every Monday 8 a.m. at KKMP radio talk show.
Right next door.
Yes, every Monday we're able to break down the different maltreatments and go in depth and details about it. So each one of the team has their Monday. Fortunately for Winisha and I, we're done. We were the first Monday.
Oh, well, this seems pretty easy. I know you guys were saying, ooh, why are we nervous for no reason? When you came in. But if you're doing this every Monday, you know, this seems like it's got to be pretty easy, right? You guys got it down now?
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. But yeah, not only this month, throughout the whole year, we do want to challenge the CNMI to keep living through our theme, doing things differently, keep doing things differently, keep showing out for our kids. And that just means, you know, prevention. It's about what child abuse and neglect is, or just following us on Instagram or Facebook. I want to challenge all of you in the CNMI.
I love that, talking to your kids about what that is. So, like, how would you talk to some kids about what would your approach be, and how early is the right age to start talking to your kids about stuff like that?
It's never too early to start. We love to encourage discussions and healthy discussions, turning this uncomfortable discussion into something that's comfortable. Teach your kids about private parts, what they are. Teach them about safe touches, unsafe touches, and we have a lot of resources at DYS that we can do to help you. So just follow us and hit us with a message, and we'll link you up. We'll hook you up. We got the hookup.
And even throughout the year, we conduct mandated reporting presentations to all the schools or anyone dealing with the youth. We also do presentations to all the schools at every grade level. We teach our kids, and we keep, encourage them to make reports. If you suspect child abuse that's happening, call. We have a 24-hour on-call number, which is 285-2780, 285-2781, or of course call 911, and we'll be there to help.
Well, it's such a, I understand, like, it sounds like an awful thing to talk about, right? Like, I think that's because people, when you have those conversations, your mind entertains like whatever that would be, and you don't even want to think about it. And if you don't think about it, it's not real. But it is real. It's something that happens in the community more often than we would want to see. We saw some of the statistics that were just when we went to Dandan for the proclamation signing. We heard some of that, and it was really shocking, to hear like how high the numbers were, and how many lives are like forever, I don't know, ruined is the right thing, but negatively affected deeply by those kinds of things. And it's it's a tough thing to have that conversation, but I think the other part is the people who don't want to report it because it's somebody who's really close to the family, or they think they'll be in trouble for saying something, right?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the barriers that we see, one of the challenges that we see, that why people don't make the report, because we live in the CNMI, and in the CNMI, we must protect our family members. And if one of our family members does something wrong, it's an embarrassment to our family, and it's shameful. And so we cannot have people in our business, people like us, DYS. And so that's why we're here to let you guys know too that by law, you are protected. When you make a report, you can just tell us anonymous, that's it. Just tell us what it is and let us handle it, you're done. That's all you have to do. Not everyone by law is a mandated reporter, but at CPS, we like to encourage everyone to just make the report. Because it's not about social status or about our culture. There's nothing in our culture that states that we cannot report child abuse and neglect. Child abuse and neglect is everyone's business. And in the CNMI, it's all our responsibility to end this. And so we need everyone to join us in our campaign, make the uncomfortable discussions comfortable. And if you don't know how to do that, we got your back. Just reach out to us and we'll help you.
Man, that is so important. You nailed it. There's nothing in the culture that says you can't talk about this or report this, right? And it's sad to see. And the worst part is that all the energy that the negative energy that people are worried about coming on them for reporting it or as the victims, it's really not about them. The negative stuff doesn't go to the victim. It's really on whoever perpetrated this, whoever basically threw this hand grenade and ruined a whole bunch of lives out of nowhere. And so what you guys are doing is really, you guys are like, you're hometown heroes, what you end up doing for our community and for families.
Yeah. We got S on our chest.
You do, for real. Hey, there's a lot of people who are out there chatting you guys up in the comments, saying good morning to all of you, and it's like Eric Mopna's weighing in saying, yeah, sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do, and sometimes it's for the best or better, and it shows in time. The pain was worth it. The folks coming in saying hello to you guys. Peeling Gazetmo coming in from Guam saying thank you for protecting our children. And let's see. Tamara Hunter said, can they take my mom? I don't know if Gloria's watching in the comments today, but that would be funny if she is. Can you take my son to DYS's Scared Straight program? Do you guys have one of those kind of programs?
A scared straight.
Scared Straight?
No.
They can't say it. They don't have the program. No, it's. Do you ever see like those old,
Yes,
like
those
Jenny
boot camps.
Jones, and they're like, "Hey, what do you think you're doing? You think you can argue?" No, like, okay. Or they take them to jail, right? But it looks like there's a lot of folks though who are really supportive of what you're doing, and of course, because you're doing a great job. There's another one. Thank you, DOIS, for what you do. It's a tough job, So I think a lot of people do understand what you're doing is not easy. Is there any one common thread that goes for all the different families and homes that you go to? Like, is there one thing that these folks have in common when they're having these kind of troubles?
There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of economic factors. There's a lot of there's a lot of factors. One of the challenges that we see in a lot of our cases is, of course, substance use. Meth use is still very high. And like you guys probably heard in the proclamation, but this fiscal year alone, 2025, which began in October of last year, we already have 3 newborns that tested positive for meth. And we have a lot of cases where there are drug-endangered children involved, and the numbers unfortunately keep increasing. So that's one thing we're seeing. Another, and there's a lot. There's a lot.
Finances.
Yeah, financial barriers, economic barriers. Like overcrowded housing. That's very common in not only here in the CNMI, but in a lot of cultures in Asia, Micronesia. But that's also a factor too, overcrowded housing, and we don't see that as one. But we all know that living with other family members or in-laws or other people, it's hard, and so that's one of the barriers that we see. Spanking is another thing that leads to child abuse. That's another thing that we see. So we come in and we educate the parents on proper ways of discipline.
Now, I'll tell you, I was a spanking dad. I definitely spanked my kids, but not with any other items, right? My dad got me with the belt when I was a kid, but that was only if it was really bad. My mom was the one who did most of it. And like here, I know Zori is the beating of choice, right? But my mom definitely got me. My mom will know. She'll attest to this if she's watching. The spatula or the hairbrush. Oh my gosh, I took a few on the butt. That's for sure. But we didn't pass that on with our kids. But I definitely did spank the kids. But we talked about it before I did it, and was like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. And do you know why we're going to do this? Why? Because we talked about this and all this other stuff. It wasn't a steam release valve for me to spank him, but it was we're going to do some of this now. Now I don't know. Maybe I'm admitting to breaking laws right now. Right?
I was just gonna ask Brad, how old are your kids? We might need to cut the live. Just kidding.
It's okay. So they're 34 and no, I'm joking. But I haven't. This was when they were younger. I mean, right now they're 12 and 13, but I haven't spanked my kids in probably 10 years, right? I mean, like, no, not 10 years. Oh my God, that would be 2 and 3. But it was. I'm trying to think.
You need to stop that.
No, I don't. It wasn't 2 or 3. It wasn't 10 years. But whenever it was, I could say that it was definitely. It was a talk through thing. It was maybe they if they got each other, or something like that. Like, you can't be doing this stuff, so now you're going to have to get your butt spanked. All right, well, I don't want to get my butt. I know, what you have to do.
I think that's where we continue to spread and educate our parents, discipline versus abuse, right? Mm-hmm. Because yes, 20, 30 years ago, without disclosing my age, how I got disciplined, was very different from today. It's 2025, things have changed. So I like to tell our parents, unplug the charger, take the charger away. Those are other stuff that they can do besides hitting them. Eventually, we know that these kids are big on technology and big on social media. Take the devices away. I know I cannot say change the Wi-Fi passwords because these guys are smarter than us and they'll maneuver and figure out, how to get to it.
I love that. Change the Wi-Fi passwords. For the age that my kids are now, they're past the spanking age, right? I mean, so like that's definitely it. But we end up doing. They know because we've got one of those smart the Wi-Fi things, so I'm able to like disconnect their devices manually. I'm like, yes, you're done. The other one is we just have them turn in their devices at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. That's it. If it's a weekend, we're watching TV, we're watching a movie, it's different. But all that other stuff. But yeah, so here, this is good to hear from the experts, right? So. I definitely think I made an improvement versus the belt and the spatula and the broom to just a hand on the butt. But again, what is the rule, or what are you allowed to do? Because I know there are some kids who don't get disciplined at all, and I don't know how these parents can not discipline their kids at all.
Yeah, we don't like to encourage the spanking because spanking can lead to child abuse. We like to tell our parents that we don't want to teach our kids that violence is the way to solve problems. And like what you said earlier, Brad, they're past the spanking age, but how do you know when the spanking age ends? You know what I mean?
When my arm gets hurt. Yeah, that's no, just kidding, just joking. No, but that's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
A lot of us got spanking when we were younger, but a lot of us also stopped getting spanked when we got older. Mm-hmm. So it was seen as normal back in the day, but it leads to child abuse. A study by Harvard University was just completed last year around May 2024, and their findings, because they followed these children for 18 years, those that were spanked and those that weren't, and they did find that those that were spanked were traumatized, and it did affect their brain later on in life. So now they're like 20. So yeah, we do also see cases where spanking does lead to child abuse. We've taken children away because mom or dad kept spanking and didn't know when to stop. And then if you guys really think about it, we were spanked when we were younger, but when we got older, 12, 10, our parents stopped. So they knew even back then that it was wrong, because if they didn't think it was wrong, they would have spanked us till we were 17. But when we spank our kids, it teaches them what not to do just for a short term. It doesn't teach them in the long term what's right. So when our goal now, we want to focus on like self-control, right? So we want to teach our kids self-control, but we need to learn first as parents what self-control is, and then make it happen for ourselves and then our kids. Just talk to our kids. Our kids are really smart. We said it. They have the technology. They're going to learn all these negative things. It's up to us to keep talking to them every day, keep guiding them. Even if we have to repeat ourselves 1 billion times a day, it's going to happen. But we don't have to spank. We can just keep talking because they're smart.
No, you're right. And you brought up a good question. But there's not a debate. You're right. But I think what it was to me, like, when did I decide that it's enough with the spanking? It's when the kids did have the ability to process a good conversation about what they can do and what they can't do. And there was a pretty good foundation of what happens if you don't do it after we have those conversations. And if you come back to it, there is a there is a spanking to pay if you know it, right? After we had the conversation, and then there just reached a point where our kids were like, they're just good kids, you know, like they end up not doing that stuff, or if they do something that we don't agree with, we'd have that conversation, and then it's almost like a new game where you change what that punishment is. Like you said, take away the Wi-Fi or take away that other stuff. But at that point, it was take away your smile a little bit. We're gonna spank a little bit. I mean, and I think that's it. This is definitely not gonna be the well. Can we work this out? Can we negotiate? Like, can I get him like twice? Like, no. Like, we're good. But what I love about it though is some of the comments that come in. Bruce Camacho is like, "Hey, Brad's getting himself in trouble," and then John Williams says, "My wife spanks me." Thanks for that, John. God. I think that's different. That's different. John, and he included a link to his OnlyFans. No, he didn't.
Oh my God.
No. Then we got Tobias like, y'all got spanked. I had to. Ooh, boy, he had some rough justice. He said, y'all got spanked. I had to knuckle up with my dad and my older brothers to learn my lesson. I got beat up every time. Tobot, you're tougher than that. I think you could probably do it. That's a tough thing, and that's the relative stuff. And I think everybody's experience is relative to them and what that is. But there's also, you know, we live in a civilized society where we've got laws and rules and regulations about what we can do. And just because, that's how it's always been in my family, that doesn't count. Right.
Yeah, and this year's theme, we're doing things differently, even though that's how it's always been done.
Yep. So bring back the belt. No, not at all. And I know it's probably not appropriate to joke, but that's my stress relief valve is to stay a little funny. But you guys really doing great stuff, but you bring the real questions. When is it? You know, like if you start, then who sets that goal? Who sets that limit? And who are you to set that limit too, right? Mm-hmm. So that's great. I love that study that you were talking about. I'd love to see that. Lester Manglonia jumping in saying, kudos to team from DYS also. He's jumping in. Good morning. Oh, no, Tammy jumped in. She just said, we were talking about the Temu thing. All right, so maybe some of those statistics might be not a bad idea. Yes. You were talking about getting to some, because I was gonna say, like, you're not letting her talk. Is it like, what is going on?
They're saying everything I'm thinking, so it's okay. Thanks. So for fiscal year 2024 for Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda, we had a total of 535 cases to include 1,489 children. And of those, we had like 46 for domestic violence. For physical abuse, we had 116 cases. And for sexual abuse, we had 102. Oh. We also offer a lot of support services, which can include like referral to counseling. We do a lot with teen pregnancy, doing wellness checks, and dealing with SARC and custody. So this is only for fiscal year 2024, but for fiscal year 2025, we had already reached 293 cases as of the end of March 31st. And that's about 700 plus children. And that's only for Saipan.
Wow, you know, I didn't even think about this as being something that is in your realm, but you mentioned teen pregnancy.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Anything dealing with the youth.
Wow. So what kind of services do you offer in the event that somebody's daughter is pregnant?
So we check in with the families, and then, like, for example, if they're not included in Medicaid, or we get them in touch with WEAK, maybe counseling or just support services for them.
No kidding.
Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, and I know during our proclamation, Vivian had mentioned, our director, that our numbers are pretty high. Mm-hmm. But it also means that, you know, we're spreading awareness. We're reaching out to more families, more homes, and more kids. And, you know, yes, the numbers are really high, but can you imagine of those that are unreported? You know, these are just the reported cases or the numbers that Wanisha's sharing.
And it's just devastating to think about it. I mean, it's awful. There's other stuff that happens. You know,
just kids with kids, as students and all that stuff. And I imagine you guys get involved with some of that stuff too. I don't know how that works, like outside of the school. I imagine the authorities get involved with some of those things too. But how far is your reach when it comes like outside? Like, do you guys get involved at the school level too, or is it outside the school?
Everything. Yes. Everything. We work very closely with the AG, with DPS, with the schools, CHC.
So how it looks like if, like, for example, a school received a report, they'd call us or DPS, and then we'd come in, and then we go from there. Because we are also forensic interviewers, meaning we are also the only ones that talk to child victims. So we conduct forensic interviews, and then after that, we transfer it goes as evidence to DPS and then to the AG's office for prosecution.
Wow. Do you guys, is your group that you guys have with us this morning, do you guys also deal with the folks who aren't necessarily the victims? They might be the ones who are like the perpetrators of some of these things?
So we deal with the victims, their families, their siblings, household members. For youth offenders, it would be under juvenile probation office, still under the Division of Youth Services, just another unit. We are Child Protective Services, so we work with the victims. But we do not, and for adult offenders, sometimes we do. For example, if it's a physical abuse case, right? We come in and we figure out what the root cause is and if it's substance use, and maybe it was physical abuse by mom and dad, we'd get mom and dad help first, and then, we do provide services to offenders too. Yeah.
No kidding.
DYS is like a wraparound system, and so we come in and we break hearts for a bit, but we also heal hearts and families. So.
Here's a question. Well, first of all, just a couple of things. Someone says, we need more social workers. It says LCSWS. Yes. I don't know what that means. LCSWS?
Licensed social workers.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Then another one says, question coming in. Does the addiction to poker and drugs, are they the major factors that lead to child abuse?
Yes, one of the major factors for sure, substance use, and one of the contributing factors to gambling addiction is also substance use. So a lot of addiction.
So if, just a scenario, dad works, gets paid on a Friday, takes his check, goes to the poker and plays, loses it all. There's no money left for food. No money left to pay the power bill or the rent, and then all that stress, it trickles down to the kids. They're the ones suffering at the end.
It blows me away about that poker stuff, like that there are people who get involved with this stuff, and that I thought maybe that stuff was going away a little bit. We got folks who are coming in next, which is okay, but there's. I thought that now, I didn't think that the poker was still a thing for adults that aren't older anymore, but it's
still here.
Still there. No
and
kidding.
Trust me, Brad, we have walked in and you can imagine the place or anywhere we have walked in. We have looked for parents there. You cannot even imagine the places we have gone in and
We've
the homes.
Seen a lot of homes, abandoned buildings turned into homes. Yes, also everything. Going into the poker. So, yes, if the DYS car is there, we are probably meeting with a parent inside.
So don't come for us.
You're not going in to play poker. That's okay. Hey, don't go away. They're worried about coming in while you guys are on. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Maybe that's a good time for us to break up. Yes. But let's not break up. Let's keep talking about come back and tell us more about this. Yeah. I know we threw a couple of things in there to lighten it up a little bit, because some of the things are just they could be kind of crippling. The amount of sadness that I would feel
hearing about some of that stuff. But you can't ignore it. We got to keep talking about it. You got to keep supporting the folks who are the victims and letting them know that they're loved and they're cared about, and that it's important for them to come forward and say things. And then we have to make sure that you guys get the love you need for helping the whole community, because
Of course, self-care, very important.
yeah, but you need to hear from us too. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're gonna leave our calendar here for you, Brad, so you
Okay.
can continue to spread the awareness and continue repeating our theme this year. And please share our numbers every hour, every day.
Can do. Can do. I want to say thanks so much for joining us today. I'm going to throw to commercial, and I'll give you guys a news update and everything here in a second as we wait for our new folks to come in. But it's just great, and thanks so much for sharing your message with us today. It's been awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So you're like, man, well, that got all sappy pretty fast. All right. So when I say thanks to our team from Child Protective Services and DYS. Oh, also you got a little love from Stanley Michael, who's like DYS CPS in the house.
Viva, viva.
You got a lot of love in there, and somebody even threw in a joke. What's flying Tabasco?
Huh?
Tadza.
Tadza.
All right, here we go. We're gonna give you guys the latest news update from the Associated Press real quick, and when we come back, we're gonna have more guests in studio. Can you believe it? I know it's gonna be the most action-packed show that we have of the year. Well, at least up to date. We'll see you guys in just a little bit.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Financial market swings over tariffs went upward today. Sessutel has details in the AP Markets report.
Wall Street staged one of its biggest rallies in decades after President Trump said he would back off on most of his tariffs temporarily, even as he raised them on China. The S&P 500 soared 9.5% Wednesday. Even with that gain, the index is still below where it was last week when Trump announced a sweeping set of taxes on imports. The Dow jumped 2,962 points. That's about 7.9%. The Nasdaq leaped 12.2%. Wednesday's rally pulled the S&P 500 back from the edge of what's called a bear market. That's a decline of 20% or more from a recent peak. Seth Sutel, New York.
President Trump paused his tariff on most nations for 90 days. His explanation?
People were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know. They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid.
A legal victory for the president as an appeals court cleared the way for his administration to fire thousands of probationary workers. Ed Donahue has the ruling.
The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals found the firings should probably be appealed through a separate employment process instead of fighting it out in federal court. The decision comes in a lawsuit filed by nearly 24 states who said the mass firings will cause irreparable burdens and expenses to support recently unemployed workers. The states could still pursue further review as the lawsuit continues to play out. The administration says states have no right to try to influence the federal government's relationship with its own workers, but also had already reinstated some 15,000 workers to full duty or paid leave as the lawsuits played out. Probationary workers have been targeted for layoffs across the federal government because they're usually new to the job and lack full civil service protection. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Indiana's announced a new measles outbreak. No link to the Texas one, now at some 500 cases. New Mexico, Ohio, Kansas, and Oklahoma also have active outbreaks. This is AP News. In the Dominican Republic, a crowd's been growing increasingly agitated, waiting for news of loved ones still missing a day after a roof collapsed at a legendary nightclub, killing at least 124 people. Charles de Ledesma has a report.
Families collect at the Institute of Forensic Science in Santo Domingo to identify bodies that have been brought from the nightclub. Some of the families holding photographs of their relatives. Search and rescue teams and helpers continue to remove bodies from the rubble. Concrete slabs had collapsed and killed well over 100 people and trapped dozens of others on a dance floor where hundreds have been dancing to a live merengue concert early Tuesday. The legendary Jet Set Club in Santo Domingo was packed with musicians, professional athletes and government officials when dust began falling from the ceiling and into people's drinks. Minutes later, the entire roof collapsed. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
And I'm Ben Thomas, AP News. Thanks for listening.
Paradise Dental's giving you the gas. Well, not that kind of gas.
You already know that Paradise Dental has the most affordable coverage in the entire Marianas, and now we've got something special just for new customers. And now for a limited time, Paradise Dental is offering free gas vouchers for new signups for their coverage plan. If you sign up for a singles plan, you'll get a $10 gas voucher. If you sign up for a couples plan, that's a $15 gas voucher. And if you sign up for the whole family plan, that's a $20 gas voucher right after your first visit. So hurry down to Paradise Dental and sign up for the CNMI's most affordable dental coverage today. These gas vouchers are limited, and with smiles like these, you know they're gonna go fast.
Hi, I'm Shauna Brenfleck, nurse practitioner and owner of Island Skin Solutions and Wellness Clinic. We are Saipan's only medical spa offering a wide range of services to meet your unique skincare goals. We offer exclusive medical grade skincare products that can only be purchased from a licensed medical professional. We also have the CNMI's only master esthetician who offers new patient consultations that include a mini facial tailored to your needs. Schedule your consultation today to get started on your skincare journey.
Hey, I'm Coach Derek Cutting, the owner and founder of Laddie Built Fitness. So no matter who you talk to here at Laddie Built, everyone feels that they are part of a family, part of a group of like-minded people. No one feels judged. No one feels like they're being teased or picked on or looked down upon because maybe they don't know what they're doing. They could be brand new and have no idea what they're doing. They might be overweight or really skinny and feel very self-conscious about themselves. But at Laddie Built, nobody judges here. And if you ask anybody here that might be in better shape than you or even not, but has experience in the gym, they will gladly help you through a workout and teach you a few techniques that can help you. So Laddie Built organically from day one, since the boot camp era, has organically grown this fostered environment of community and being a safe place, but a strong work ethic community of people that want to get work done. All I can say is that I put my heart and soul into it from day one. I treated everyone like that at the boot camp from the very, very beginnings, and everyone at the same time would treat each other like that from the boot camp era as well. And as we grew, as we got into a brick and mortar facility, we got bigger and bigger. I feel like people definitely just take this place as a home, as like their brother and sisters are working out next to them, not their enemy or not their competitor, you know? So organically, it's just the vibe here is different. Everyone feels very, very comfortable, and I love the fact that it happened like that.
PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
All right, welcome back, Marianas. It is 8:24 here on Thursday, and what a morning we have. It is action-packed. We've got folks from all over Saipan in studio with us today. We're swinging from vine to vine, going from information outlet to information outlet, and right now we're doing it at the speed of broadband. That's right, because we've got the folks from the BPD and the BEAD program in studio with us now, and couldn't be more exciting except for I'm seeing where I am, and I'm going to have to back way off on the other screen that we're going to be showing you here in just a second. But I am really excited because we're going to have a couple of our friends join us in studio again to tell us all about what's happening with our local broadband project, whether it's going to be from Google or the local stuff or the federal stuff or all over the place. Holy smokes. It's great to have you guys back in studio again.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us, Brad. Yeah.
Well, let's get down to it. Let's tell everybody, maybe not everybody saw the last time you guys were here. Let's talk about, again, like what you guys do, what your role is with the office, what your office is, what you guys do over there, and then we'll start getting into some of the cool, exciting stuff.
Okay, cool. Well, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, our office was established in April 2023 with the goal to improve the CNMI's broadband infrastructure. So since then, we've been working hard to put all of this together with the grant, because the grant is it's a big grant, and it's a lot of federal oversight and a lot of rules and stipulations with it. So we're finally in our exciting phase, because we are finally on the subgrant selection process, in which we open up our subgrant portal and eligible entities can apply for the funding or project areas and get funding to deploy fiber to all homes and businesses, community centers, everywhere around the CNMI.
That sounds like really exciting. Like that's the one that I think a lot of people have been waiting for, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's finally here. We're getting closer.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about it for sure, because we can't do what we do without broadband, right? Like, and I know it's not cheap, and hopefully what you're going to do, all the stuff that you're doing is making it more affordable for folks. I mean, that's kind of the goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a good thing to think about with the BEAD program and the fact that everyone's going to be applying for this is that there's a rubric, and one of the metrics we would say on the rubric is affordability. So, we're trying to ensure that although they can deploy the fiber and offer these services, that any resident like you or I can afford it.
Man, and the idea, first of all, we're talking a lot of fiber, right?
Yes.
And this is a lot. So we've got a lot. The last mile to the home is the big one for this, but we even need to get it here, right? The whole landing with the Google project and everything like that.
Yeah.
So like I don't know which part that we jump into on this one first, because it's like two separate projects, right?
Yeah. So these are two separate projects, basically two separate programs if you think about it, because yes, Google is going to be landing, and that's not the last mile at all, but that's more of its separate own thing to ensure that we do have landings here, and that's going to be owned by Google, by Citadel.
Wow.
Yeah.
By Citadel or Google?
Google, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then the local one here. So first of all, for the Google part, did they already figure out where it's going to land? I know Tinian, right?
Yeah.
But do they know the specific place, or do they have the idea lined up and all that stuff?
Yeah, so they actually do have the specific location in mind, although I can't necessarily tell you right now, but just letting you know and giving you like a sort of an update is that right now, according to their representatives, all the permitting has been going smoothly. They're actually prepping already, and some of them have been on Tinian just to ensure that it's going to get started.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So, and just the whole idea of being this hub for this kind of level of communication is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. And then now this is where the folks from here, or local agencies or companies, have the opportunity to take advantage of this product or project by trying to extend that reach from that landing spot all the way to everybody's house.
Yes. That could be something that does happen because it is owned by Google. It depends on who our applicants or who gets selected from our subgrantee process, that potentially, they can tap into that opportunity and just lower their transit costs, latency is, low, and all of that fun stuff.
Oh, and the latency.
Yes.
So I know why it's important. Can you explain what latency is for folks?
Okay. You want to take that?
Nobody's put on the spot.
No, don't worry.
I'm trying to find the words to explain. Could we circle back to that?
Yeah. So, like, I'll give you my my layman's idea.
Yeah, I was like, I need a layman's term.
So, here's how I understand it, and you guys are more experts than me, so you could probably tell me if I'm messed up. But basically, everybody's got the speed and everything that you get, but it's about like the response that you get back from that network. So it's about maintaining that connection so there's no lag between the stuff that you're doing and where it's going.
Yeah.
So the goal for the BEAD project, when these subgrantees are awarded, they have to meet the requirement that the latency is under 100 milliseconds.
Wow, that's great.
So we're trying to get fast, like real quick internet.
Should we do a speed test right now? No.
Maybe not.
No, we're not going to do a
Let's not
speed
put
test
those
right now.
guys-
But I'm excited to see, what we would have and
Yeah.
everything like that. So, so how has this project been for you guys at the office? I know that you're probably doing a whole bunch of different things, wearing probably a lot of different hats over there. So, I don't know, can you give us like the 10,000 foot view of like what's going on?
Okay, well, right now, as I mentioned, the Google project is underway, although we don't have a direct, role, I would say, in it. We are preparing on our side with another project of ours, which is the BEAD program. And that's the $80.4 million grant given to us by the NTIA to deploy broadband infrastructure here.
Do we already have that money?
No.
Oh, that's the scary thing.
We're approved for it, but we're not able to use the funds until the the awardees or the subgrantees selected and awarded. However, the boot camp though is tapping into that fund, and we are using just about a little over $3 million to fund the boot camp.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I got to be there when you kicked off, and it looked good. Oh, by the way, we got some pretty smart people watching, so check this out. Norman Del Rosario says, latency is the delay between when you do something and when you see the result. For example, when you click a link, latency is the time it takes before the website starts to load. In gaming, if you press a button and your character moves half a second later, that delay is latency.
Yeah.
So lower latency equals faster response. High latency equals more lag or delay. Thank you, Norman.
Thank you so much,
I
Norman.
believe you,
for the
Norman. I
layman's
remember
term.
you from IT&E.
Yes, me too. I worked with him for about 7 years. And he's out there in the mainland now. He's a big-time Cincinnati guy, a big Ohio guy. But this is great. Let's see. What else? It says a question: will Google be paying DPL or Land Trust for the lease?
I'm not sure how the lease is going about. However, I'm sure they're going to be paying permitting fees and whatever fees that they need to land the cable there, for sure.
Awesome. And here's another one that came in from John William, because you just mentioned Broadband Boot Camp. When can I sign up for the next Broadband Boot Camp? Like, when I went in there, I got to see the kickoff for it, and everybody was there. It seems like everyone was really excited about it too, and it was people of all ages. Like, it wasn't just. I mean, pick who you think might be there, and you're wrong, or maybe you're right, because there was everybody was there.
I was very surprised with the turnout, and we just came back from Rhoda. We did a site visit with NM Tech, and I was very surprised and amazed because it's just a diverse amount of people, like from all ages, all backgrounds, and they're all there to learn. So we're just so happy and proud that it came together.
That is really great, and I know that there is demand. The community is really interested in trying to do something like this. Is there a possibility that we could get another one?
Well, if there is remaining funds, hopefully, we will do non-deployment programs. So that will include probably not fiber, but what comes after fiber, like learning how to do the switch at IT&E or Docomo or whoever wins the bid or things like that. Behind, not on the road, but like behind the scenes kind of thing. Yeah.
So although the NTIA's BEAD program's main goal is to build up infrastructure, the great thing about the non-deployment is that afterwards they want to invest in the local workforce. So we were able to do that in the front end with the broadband boot camp. But if we can do that at the back end too, like Krista mentioned, that'd be even greater. I would say the BEAD program, although it gives us just infrastructure, it's also there in place to ensure that our people know how to use the internet or even just, apply their knowledge and skills.
So, do you think that women just know more about it, and that's why there's so few that went to the broadband boot camp? That was the one. I'm saying it kind of as a joke, but I'm like, I noticed that it's mostly all guys, and predominantly guys who are in there. But do you think that is there a reason that was there not as much interest? Do you think?
Well, honestly, the whole point of the let's say the intake process was very much first come, first serve. So there's a possibility that maybe most of the men applied first. However, I won't discredit our women in there, because there's quite a few women. Maybe we only saw the Saipan side, but even on Rhoda, what I noticed was there like three young women, let's say in their early 20s or even in their late teens. And I commend these women because it's not an easy task for anybody out there, but they're all doing great. Hopefully with, more outreach, more marketing, and just seeing how these participants do later on after the boot camp will inspire more women or even younger adults of the generation now, like let's say my generation or even the older ones too, just to get out there and learn more.
They're probably just smarter than us anyway. They already know all of it. That's probably why they're like, that's minor. This is no problem. But I definitely, it was one of the striking things that I saw when I walked in there.
Yeah.
Even though, while the age group was pretty vast, it was pretty much like the guys that were in there.
I would say, I think girls feel a little intimidated getting into this industry, but man, girls are strong and we're resilient and we're able to do anything.
Yeah, especially with this. I mean, and this is really the future of the Commonwealth, right? I mean, how we're going to be able to hold our own in a digital economy is going to be like through this.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us. What's the most exciting thing going on over there these days?
Honestly, I think the most exciting thing going on is definitely our BEAD program. So as we mentioned just a little bit before, is that we are now in the process of selecting our subgrantees. And the way we're doing that is through a portal. And in that portal, you have the ability to apply for these project-funded areas. And these project-funded areas are divided into 21 census tracts. So we have it across Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda, and any eligible entities, so let's say our ISPs, who are able to carry out these broadband deployment services. They're in the process right now of applying from their regular registration information to even putting out their BEAD outlay costs, all of that, very niche but fun stuff going on.
I'm on their website now, and this is the BEAD broadband serviceable locations map.
Yes.
And you said the census tracts, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's this thing too. Do I click on this, or is that what it is? Hold on.
Yeah, you should be able to. What's that?
Maximize.
Or even just divert into census tracts. However, that's something we can work on. But those who are applying right now, they are aware of the census tracts and the blocks between them, or the line divisions.
So this is when you say census tracts, like this is where everybody lives, pretty much, or where the service is.
Yeah, those are those probably have some kind of internet infrastructure.
Wow.
Yeah, so those are places where, let's say the BEAD program were to roll out. Those are the locations that
will be served.
Yeah, served.
Oh wow, yeah, and you can see you guys have this. There's some that have it already, and some who are underserved,
Yes.
right? So that's the difference between who's already got some.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the folks who have the money to pay for the fancy stuff are in green, and the rest of us schlubs are in yellow. But you can see that a lot of folks. And there's John P.F., so that's all the way south at Hopwood. I wonder, do you guys have it? I know you guys, not you guys, but I know that there's high-speed stuff all over the CNMI. And I thought we had it in our area. Well, we do. It's just not all the customers listed. But this is really exciting places. Oh, anchor institutions. Is that like the schools? Is that what we're looking at?
Yes, so community anchor institutions are like community centers. So a lot of the schools are already served. They already have fiber directly to the school. So
wow, great.
that's covered. So, but everything else will be covered through BEAD.
Oh yeah, I was thinking initially like that one of those places would be like multi-purpose.
Yeah, they're served.
Multi-purpose is on there because we've used it.
Yeah.
We've taken advantage of it, and you guys are using it.
Yeah, we currently do.
The Broadband Boot Camp.
Yeah.
And how is that program? Like, how long does it go?
The last day for the cohort is May 24.
Wow.
So right now they are coming to an end with NM Tech, and they are switching off with ITS, where they will learn soft skills.
This is such a great program, but it's so much bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. We didn't think it would be this big, but we've definitely had some challenges along the way. But other than that, we've found solutions, and it's going so well.
Well, all the way till May.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a couple of months and all this stuff. And are they earning stuff while they're doing this too?
Yes, they are getting paid throughout the boot camp. So they get paid, I believe, after 4 weeks. Timesheets are submitted, and then NMC takes 2 to 3 or 10 to 15 business days to process their stipends. So they've already received 2 stipends, and they're awaiting stipend 3. There's a total of 4 stipends.
This is the best program ever.
Ever, yes.
This really
we agree.
You're going to get paid to learn.
Yes.
Paid to have a skill, and paid to be a sought after employee after this thing is done too.
Yeah. Again, this is an investment in our people, and when we are gonna roll out the fiber, we need local capacity in order to do this. And instead of hiring outside, why not hire our people and make them get paid? Yeah.
This is like for everything that comes in here, every grant. There's always people say, would you be willing to hire and train local people to do it? This is the first time I've seen it ever done. This is incredible. Well, I mean, like all these things, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're like, well, how could I get a job? Like, I don't know about this stuff and all this stuff. You guys are putting the skills right into their hands.
Yeah.
And so, like, what is like a regular day like for folks who are doing this?
Well, some classes, or for Tinian and Rhoda, it's virtual. So Christian, who is the NM Tech instructor, he's down at NM Tech, and they do a virtual session with the cohorts in Rhoda and Tinian. And for the stipend cohorts, they have a morning and an afternoon session. So they do 2.5 hours, but when they transition to ITS, it'll be 4 hours of soft skills.
When they do their when they do their virtual sessions, I imagine they've got to be somewhere where they've got great connectivity.
Yes, so they all meet at the NMC campus.
Okay.
Yeah, they're required to meet there. No one can do it like at home or anything like that. They need to be in attendance there.
You can't be sitting in your hot tub.
No.
With a laptop.
Yeah, we need to ensure that they're actually paying attention, and we stipend-wise, it's based on attendance, so you need to be there to get your stipend.
Wow. I absolutely love this program. Everybody who got into it, I hope they understand how lucky they are. Like, what a great opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, we had nearly 200 people on waiting list for stipend. Like, that's insane. Like, wow. Everyone is trying to get their hands on the boot camp, but yeah, it was a first come, first serve, and hopefully we have funding later on to do another round of something like this.
Well, are you doing like any surveys among the students to find out like what they think about it, or are they enjoying it? Are they getting what they thought out of it?
We will do probably surveys in the end, and they will also be doing they also will have a final exam as well, and to see what they've learned throughout the boot camp. And we'll probably have testimonials towards the end on how it affects them, and what can they do now with their skills.
No kidding. So right now, while you're in this phase where you're just kind of waiting till these contractors or the subcontractors, am I saying it right?
So I would say just applicants, because they are potential subgrantees, but because we haven't awarded anything, there's no guarantee yet.
And I just want to clarify that this is not an RFP, it's an application.
Okay.
Yes.
We had some people say it was an RFP, and we've heard from different people that it's an RFP, but no, just to clarify, this is an application, and we're welcoming anyone to apply as long as they're eligible and they meet the requirements.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's not like an easy lift, right? I mean, like, this is going to be a lot of work to
Our office has worked very hard to put this subgrant together, and it's a lot. Yeah.
So do we know, you might, I don't know if you have an exact date or if you have like a window of when that might happen?
So, although we don't have an exact date of when they would get awarded, the process would go like this. So, we did open officially on March 31st, and then we are open for 45 days. So, it ends on May 15 at 12 p.m. So, all ISPs, if you're listening now, not end of day, it will be at 12 p.m. Please turn in your applications. I will be looking. But afterwards, we would be then looking at everything according to, like the metrics we have. So, the availability, the outlay cost, the timeline, so as soon as possible. So we have that going on. And then once we select these subgrantees, we then send it to our federal overseer, the NTIA, within our final proposal. And from there, they then have the final say of who gets approved or if there's any modifications or changes.
Oh, wow. So not even like our local procurement. This is like
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's a lot of oversight and, a lot of rules and like expectations, but that comes with having such a big project. And like we mentioned before, the impacts of this, if done correctly, will have like incredible benefits to the CNMI.
So I don't know if this is something you guys can answer, but either way, is the Google project impacted at all? Like, is that happening no matter what? Because in the event, like, say if, you see like a lot of federal grants have gotten cut or stopped or paused while they figure stuff out and everything, right?
Well, Google's a different funding, so they're funding that out of their own funding.
Yes.
So whatever happens, it's not federally funded; it's on their side. So they will still probably lay the undersea cable. Yeah.
All the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the BEAD program does not fund any of the Google Pacific Connect initiative. The BEAD program itself is for just the broadband deployment here in the CNMI.
So great. So but it's not dependent on the BEAD. Is the Google deployment dependent on the BEAD?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool. So great. So like it's happening.
Yes, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then this part is the exciting part where it's going to affect actual people who live here. Like
Yes, so with the BEAD program. So that's where it comes in. You'll actually see it come into play for all of us here.
All right, so now that we're all excited about that, so is it going to be $5 a month for fast broadband? No. And you guys probably don't have this on here. That might be one of the requirements. So they have to.
Yeah, so
affordability is part of the scoring rubric.
Yes.
So we're looking at probably less than $50 a month for.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully that's what these ISPs or eligible entities will be submitting in regards to affordability, and we're hoping it's under $50.
That's our aim.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's for 100
Mbps, 20 Mbps upload, and under 100 milliseconds for latency.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so here's another question. Again, if you can't answer, it's okay. This is just the inquiring minds. If I'm thinking about like who our ISPs could be. So would that be it's 50 or less, hopefully, right? Whatever they come up with.
Yes.
But does that mean the total package? Like, would that mean like they could say it's like 50, but you also need to get cable, or you also have to get your phone or something like that?
No, they should be. They should provide everything. Yeah, they run the fiber, and then I think all they need to provide is the, I guess, a modem inside the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So completely free and independent of any of their other services. This is just for that fiber?
Yeah. So the whole point of it is that we're not guaranteeing or promising free internet, but we're guaranteeing people the option to, have a faster service at an affordable price.
Man, I mean, you guys are still pretty young, so you don't remember the days of dial-up probably, right?
Probably not, but I know it must have been challenging for you guys to dial something.
Oh my gosh. No, so here's fun stuff. So when the internet first came around, it was just with your phone, right? So like if somebody was on the phone at your house, like if they answered the phone, you'd be disconnected.
Yeah.
Yes, crazy.
Yeah.
Like your actual phone line plugged right into your computer.
Yeah.
And if you're playing a game or back when, like, the websites now, it's like we do all this video, we could stream all this high-speed stuff, right? But back then, it was like, you'd have email and messaging and stuff like that, like a chat group or something like that. But you would be disconnected if someone at the house picked up the phone, if like you got like a wireless phone, or, whatever it is. And then awful. The other one is that people would here, like they would, like, how like, we got like $3 taxis that aren't really taxis, but you could do it, right? Like you got to have the hookup. So people would end up, even if you weren't a subscriber for dial-up service, but your company was, like after hours, people would use the access numbers for their phones from their house with their computers, and then give that access out to their friends too.
Oh,
so there was a whole nother like sub network of internet users who were using the same access codes. It didn't cost their company anything more, but that's how people were kind of doing. It's almost like using your neighbor's Wi-Fi that's unsecured, right?
Yeah.
And just wild stuff, and now it's so much.
We've come a long way, definitely.
Yes. I mean, it's just crazy how awesome it is, and it's going to get even better now because of what you guys are doing. So, are you guys just wherever you live? Do you currently have that fiber that goes all the way to the house, or are you one of the yellow underserved folks?
Actually, no. The ISPs here don't offer fiber to the home services. Yeah, so I don't think people here in the CNMI have fiber directly to their home or can avail of that. I believe only businesses can. So yeah, we do not have fiber to our home right now.
Yeah.
I know at least a couple of people who spend like, I think,
a crazy amount of money to fiber. Yes.
Like with a comma.
And that is true.
And they have that to their house.
Yeah.
And whether or not they put that under their business account or something like that, but they definitely have it. So this is kind of a game changer for everybody here in the CNMI. Oh, it looks. I'm looking at the businesses that have it here. Just your map is awesome, by the way. Who does all this stuff for you guys? Is this some of the stuff that you guys work on? Because this is awesome.
So for the map, we did have one of the developers here work on it. I'm going to give a shout out to Robbie Green from PCRP.
Yes.
He is an ArcGIS expert. So the way we did it is that we get these broadband serviceable locations, and they're given to us also from the FCC. And those locations are informed actually by our ISPs.
No kidding.
So it's sort of like a roundabout way of getting it, but that's how we know, like, oh, these are the places that can be served. So even if you look on the map and zoom into Manyagaha, there are locations there that are going to need to be served.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So does that mean there's going to be a cable to Manyagaha?
So the way it would work is that there's an extremely high cost threshold for like some of these locations, and dependent on, for example, it may just cost too much to run to Manyagaha. It may cost extremely a lot to even run to Bonsai Cliff, Suicide Cliff, those areas. So if it does cost, if it does pass the threshold, there we would then talk with the ISPs who did get the areas and then potentially negotiate. Or it would go into a second round of the portal, where then instead of just prioritizing underground fiber, it would then open up to other types of broadband technologies.
This is wild because it's not just like the shopping area, it's all the Pala-Palas.
They were considered broadband serviceable locations.
Oh my gosh. First of all, crazy, awesome, right? That's super cool. But who's bringing their laptop with the, it's just Wi-Fi with a Wi-Fi device. So is that are they going to have a like free Wi-Fi from DPL or something like that? I wonder how that's going to work out. That's up to them, right?
Yeah, that would be up
DPL
to them.
And whoever wins the bid, or not bid, the funding for there.
6'2". He's the new guy.
You could get Wi-Fi there. I mean, if you want to think about it in an economic scale, you could provide free Wi-Fi for the tourists there rather than, having them pay these expensive fees for roaming from their carriers out there in, let's say, Japan, Korea, or wherever we're getting our tourists from.
Wow. Well, it's amazing. As much as I would like to have the, can we scroll all the way out? You're going to have Pagan taken care of in this?
Okay, so the Northern Islands unfortunately will not be covered with this BEAD funding only because there is no broadband serviceable location there, meaning there's no internet infrastructure at all. So in order for them to be covered through this BEAD program, they need to have a broadband serviceable location. However, I believe that the Northern Islands Mayor's Office has received funding to put some sort of internet connection up there. So I think they're working along those lines. I'm just not sure where they are right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I know I don't go to Managaha that often because I don't have a boat. But when I do go, like we'll go, like I love it when we go camping over there and everything. Mm-hmm. We get a bunch of folks. But the last thing I want to do is spend all my time on my device when I'm out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Enjoying the weather with the kids and friends and maybe some beverages, maybe.
Yeah, some beers.
Yeah, there we go. The BEAD program and the beer program. It's perfect. But it's still great that that's going to be available to be out there for folks. So you mentioned Managaha, and you mentioned some points up north too, right? So
yes.
I'm scrolling
so
up
if you look up north, there are some broadband serviceable locations there.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, look at that. I'm looking at Cowtown. Cowtown's got 2.
Yeah.
And wow, that's going to be a game changer. So like, we wanted to do coverage. We did coverage, but we couldn't do it live because we didn't have the connectivity over there. So if you guys are able to bring that there, and whoever your subgrant or your awardee would be, can bring that up there, that would be a real winner. It looks like this has got to be Suicide, I'm thinking. No, maybe not. No. But there's a spot over, the dump already has, DPL already has high speed.
So some of these areas that are on it potentially green, so it means served, and they could be served by other funding sources. So other federal grants that have been out there, they probably have covered those areas. And then another thing to think about, because you mentioned before about wanting to disconnect and unwind from having your internet, but the way we also think about it is in terms of safety. I know a lot of us do go like up north and, just in case of an emergency, there really is no signal there.
Yeah.
So the possibility of having that there will not only, help our people, but help those from, let's say, DPS, fire, any one of those emergency response agencies.
So I'm looking at a spot. I know that that's a residence at somebody's farm. But I see one is Last Command Post. Mm-hmm. That's a public spot. But there's that big area of no service in there that would be pretty awesome. This is pretty outstanding. Maybe we get something over there that covers Bird Island too. But you're right, from a safety aspect, that's pretty important.
And then also, just to make it clear, within our portal, there is an option where, let's say these ISPs do go to these locations, they could indicate that it is, potentially a rundown building that just people are not going to use. So we want to make sure that the government, the federal government funds, are used effectively and wisely. We don't want to be putting up these services to locations that are just not going to be used.
Oh, that's a great point. And I'm even seeing the stuff along the back road and everything. Well, this is such an exciting program, and it's going to make such a big difference here in the CNMI. And it's going to be like we were just talking today. It's not a perfect comparison, but we were talking about what a great traffic day it was today.
Yes.
Because people were able to do all this stuff. You almost forget the reason why and what it was like before. But that's what it's going to be like when you guys all the work that you're doing is going to result in people just almost forgetting what it was like to not have service or fast service that was affordable.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that is the hope. And a dream of it too would be just ensuring that our people here can access the opportunities that others in, let's say, the mainland U.S. have just through.
Yeah,
fast internet.
broadband is no longer a want, it's a necessity in today's world.
Yeah.
Everything revolves around broadband. From when you go to the store, swipe your card, everything needs broadband connection. And we think that this is an amazing opportunity for us in the CNMI because it is very expensive where we are. And I feel for the ISPs because to bring fiber to this remote location it's costly. So we're helping them as well with this funding.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is that education. Like there is a real disparity. If you don't have high-speed broadband coming to your house, the same student who has it and the other one who doesn't, they do not have the same opportunity.
Same advantages,
to get their education. And that's even at the public level. That's not like going public school, private school, or anything. Like it's literally unfair, disparity. So
I mean, that's a big disparity. And then there's even the health sector as well, if you think about it. Just for people who do need the help, they often have to leave home to do so, but just the price of tickets or even trying to find accommodations out there is incredibly high. So if you think about it, by having fast internet connection, by having these broadband opportunities, rather than leaving, we could potentially just use telehealth or, phone in a specialist. And that could be a way that we access these opportunities as well.
Man, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
After you guys are done with this is a long program. Like after, so like, what? Again, not a specific date, but you probably have a date in mind when, after all the applicants are assessed, and then the awarding is done, and then the work is done. That's going to be another thing. All the permitting, sounds fantastic. But when is the best case scenario that these things are good to go?
We're anticipating that we're gonna get the final say from the NTIA sometime later throughout the year. So once they've awarded whoever the entity, from there they have 4 years to complete the project.
4 years.
Yeah. So depending on where they start from, some villages may start having fiber as soon as maybe next year, depending on how long it would take to bring in the materials and get the permitting done and lay out all the fiber. But yeah, it's just a matter of the different villages, or when the ISPs come to the what village they would choose first to deploy the fiber. So it may be Dandan, it may be here, it may be Capitol Hill, Cagman. They might even start in Tinian or Rhoda first.
So basically what we need to do is start a public information campaign called My Village First. That's it. No, I love this. How does it feel? Now, this is more just about you guys in particular. What does it feel like to be working on something that's so impactful?
Well, when I first came on board, it was a lot to take in, but I really, really see the good in all of this and how we're helping our residents, given an opportunity to our residents to thrive in this digital world now. So I'm very happy to be a part of this team and to be a part of the good to come.
Yeah, very much to reiterate what Krista said, I am very lucky to be part of this team in the beginning. Some people may think like, okay, internet, like we already have that. But could you think of it on a scale of like getting all your results quickly, not having that lag, or even talking to a professor or a specialist or a doctor without having to worry, oh, the internet's not working, can I hotspot, or anything like that. So just to ensure that the future generations get those opportunities that maybe you didn't have at the time, that I don't have as much access to, is very meaningful for me.
Yeah, I had to use the Dewey Decimal System. Do you know what that is? No, that you don't. And the reason is because you didn't need to. So
thank
this is
God.
Yeah, no. Do you know what this is? The card catalog at a library? No, you don't. Okay, so check this.
I think I might have.
Is it like the card that you have your name and then?
No, okay, so that's your library card, right? So the Dewey Decimal System was how you would store your books in the library. So based on like You can do it by the author. There was a section that was just if you did it by the author, and there was a section if you just did it by the title, and then there was another separate section if you classified it by the type of book it was, if it was like fiction or nonfiction, and then broken down from there. So basically 3 separate things that all have the same information, but just categorized in a different way. So it would tell you, it would be a roadmap that you would write down after you heard about some book. It's like the Book of Broadband by Glenn Hunter, right? You would find, you could, all right, so I know the title and I know the author, so I can go and look by the title or the author, right? You go into that section and you have to go through one by one, manually, little cards that are about like the size, almost a little bigger than a business card, but not as big as a full-on like 3x5 index card, right? And you would find it, and it would give you the address in the library where that book would be located, like ILP 230.7 or something like that. So you would go to ILP, or whatever that was, and then you would look at the numbers on the books, and there would be something on that bookshelf that would say this is 2307 to like 1907, whatever it is, and you would have to go in and find where that is. So you guys never had to do that.
Yeah. Thank God.
I'm like, I know before we would have to purchase books for college, but now everything's online, and it's just so much inexpensive to buying books physically, honestly. So thank God for internet, thank God for broadband.
It's such a game changer. And then any of the military guys, after you're watching, how we would do what we call land nav, which is navigation. So before GPS, right? So we did have GPS, but you would carry
a compass.
You would carry a compass and a map, and the map you would put acetate over it so it's waterproof, so you could fold it up and everything. And then you would also carry your pencil with you because you have to draw on it and you erase it and all that. So all your maps, and then when you're trying to walk, you'd shoot with the compass and like, all right, you'd have to have a pace count. So you would test out your pace count, meaning like for 100 meters, like how many steps, or for 100 meters, how many steps would you take? Everybody's got a different pace count because of how long their legs are differently, or if you're going uphill, downhill, or over rough terrain or something. So you'd have to try to keep your pace count to know where you are on the map, and then look at that compass point that only just tells you a direction, right?
Yeah.
And then you look for features, like land features, like, all right, there's a hill, or it's a steep climb over there, so I think I'm here on this map, and that's it, right? And that's it. Now, my watch is all of that. I can see exactly where I'm at on a map on my watch or my phone. I don't even need phone service. The GPS that's connected to my watch, which can Bluetooth to my phone, which is, I can see everything where I'm at and everything. I never have to figure it out anymore.
Yeah, technology has come a long way, and I'm so glad for it, just listening to that.
This is the equivalent of saying, when I was your age, I had to walk uphill to school in the snow and both ways.
Yes, but with all of these opportunities, I'm pretty sure we can see what comes next from the future generations, and you never know. The skills are just constantly evolving, so I'm excited to see it.
Let's see what we got on here. I'm looking at just some of the comments. And Norman came back in to talk about what the Dewey Decimal System was, too. Oh, what's that?
No, we're just reading it from behind you.
Joyce? Yeah, she's like, hi, my Dana Marianas. All right, I love that. So there we go. Norman, given the specifics of the Dewey Decimal in there, he said it's a way to organize books in a library by subject using numbers. Books are given numbers from 0 to 999 based on what they're about. For example, the 500 series is science, 600 is technology, 700 is arts, and there's more digits added for more specific topics. Like 510 is math, 520 is astronomy. So thank you, Norman, for that. He's like my, if this was the Joe Rogan show, he would be Jamie right now. Jamie, can you pull up what the Dewey Decimal System was? I mean, like he's like my Ohio-based producer for the show this morning.
Thank
for
you,
all that
Norman.
stuff. But yeah, so it's pretty amazing, and you guys, I've kept you for a long time. I hope it was good.
No problem. Thank you so much for having us. And, anytime that we can just explain more to the public about what we do and why we do it, it's a good time.
Awesome. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about that we didn't get to?
Yeah.
Not really, but maybe when the boot camp is come to an end and we have the graduation, you can come and do some footage on that.
Yeah, we'll be having ceremonies on Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda, so everyone gets a proper congratulations. They get certified.
Yeah,
we can do all that live and run it. I know we got the broadband here. If you're going to do the ceremonies in Rhoda, probably at NMC also, and
yes,
and
we'll
in Tinian as well.
NMC will probably most likely do coverage in the other islands, but you're welcome to come to the graduation and do some coverage as well.
Well, here's the good thing: if they're going to do it, are they going to do it live?
I would have to check back with them, but I think we would ask to do a live ceremony only because there is a lot of participants, so I'm not sure what venue could accommodate that many people, because we are looking to bring at least plus ones. So if other family members can't make it, at least they would have they could see it live.
Yeah, and so if they do it live and they're already going to be there, we can still rebroadcast what they're doing. Like, we can basically take what they're doing and put it out to our audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if they don't reach, they've got a pretty good reach, and we love those guys anyway. So, but it's just one way that we can kind of work together to do that stuff.
Sure.
Oh,
definitely.
I think also another note, not that, but before I forget, because we are in the process of the subgrantee selection for our BEAD portal, the BPD office is in a quiet mode. A lot of our applicants are already aware, but just to say, this means that we cannot directly answer any questions that they have for us. Rather, we would have to answer them all out publicly so that any information is not privy just to one party.
Wow.
Yeah, so it needs to be answered generally, and we are putting together an FAQ document that we are publishing very, very soon, and will be updated weekly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah.
It gives me a lot of ideas of ways that we can help you get that info out.
Awesome.
All right. I feel like you guys this conversation has given me the opportunity to come up with a new segment of the show is, do you know what this is? Do you know what this old school thing is? Whatever that thing is. Like, have you guys ever seen a cassette tape?
Yes.
Okay, so
we're not that young.
I don't think I ever really used it, but I have seen it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel like this could be like a regular thing for it. How about when you were in school, you might have to think all the way back to your like elementary school and stuff like that. Did you ever? Well, you probably didn't have this either. If you've never seen the actual cassette tapes and stuff like that. We used to have, you would see the videos in your classroom. They'd wheel in the TV.
Yeah.
Would they be using VHS tapes, or would they be?
VHS.
Okay, so you're there.
Yes,
Okay,
we were.
so that's good. But before that, they used to have this other thing, where they would have the cassette tape, and you're just playing whatever it is, and then there would be a projector, but not like a film projector that's spinning like the movies or something like that. This is just, there's a roll of film, and it's already developed and everything, and it's a projector, so you would advance it one frame at a time. So it would be like PowerPoint, like where it's on the screen, just that one slide, only it's that thing on the film. And so as you're listening to it, you would hear, and the Tyrannosaurus Rex made its way as the predator on the plane. You hear, boop. And the boop was the sound to tell the teacher to advance to the next slide.
They had to manually do
that.
that.
I was like, okay.
They would manually click it.
Yeah, no.
Now witness the Stegosaurus. And then you would click it, and you would have to turn it manually. Yeah.
Okay, definitely not our time.
All right. Well, that's not what you guys came here for today, but it was definitely something I love to hear. That might be my thing. Do you know old stuff? All right, so I want to say thanks to both of you guys for coming in today. Norman said, when I was your age, we were the same age. I like that. That's even better. So thanks so much for all the information. We look forward to having you guys back again.
Yes.
Every time you come in, it's we learn a ton, and this is like one of the most impactful projects happening in the CNMI, and it sounds like it's in capable hands, and that's great news.
Awesome. Well,
Thank you for having us. It's always a pleasure being on your show.
Yeah, we love it here. Thank you.
Any shout outs for you guys?
Shout out to Dana because she's been working so hard. So thank you, Dana.
Just shout out to our team, our office. They've been working incredibly hard just to get this ready. And a big shout out to all the potential sub-grantees. Thank you all for your patience with the FAQ document and just making sure that you have everything you need to complete the application.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being in here. We're going to take a break. In fact, let's see if we can do this. I'll just make it nice and easy. While we were talking, we have the latest that came in from the Associated Press. So we'll give you that update. I'm just refreshing it now. Latency. And it's here. So I'm going to send you guys off with the latest from the Associated Press. And we come back, we'll have more with Good Morning Marianas. So stick around. We'll be right back.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Wall Street rallied to big gains this afternoon, the S&P closing up 9.5%. Ed Donahue reports it came after President Trump paused his tariffs for most nations.
We have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did.
The president substantially lowered reciprocal tariffs of 10% effective immediately. The pause does not include China. The president raised his tax rate on Chinese imports to 125%.
Nothing's over yet, but we have a tremendous amount of spirit from other countries, including China. China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quite to go about it.
The president earlier said on social media China showed a lack of respect. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says this has got to stop.
This is government by chaos. He keeps changing things from day to day. His advisors are fighting among themselves, calling each other names. And you cannot run a country with such chaos.
A Chinese official says the country has a firm will and abundant means to take necessary countermeasures and fight to the end. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Microsoft is pausing some of its data center construction. Mike Hempen has details.
The company says it's halting early-stage projects on land it owns in Licking County, Ohio, outside of Columbus. Microsoft hasn't said what other projects it has slowed, but in late December it revealed it was pausing the later phases of a large project in Wisconsin. Microsoft still plans to spend more than $80 billion globally to expand its AI infrastructure this fiscal year. I'm Mike Hempen.
A federal appeals court has cleared the way for the Trump administration to fire thousands of probationary workers, and Interior Department employees have been given until the end of the day to respond to the latest offer of buyouts or early retirement. Among the exemptions are wildland firefighters, law enforcement officers, aviation jobs, and cybersecurity positions. This is AP News. The azaleas are blooming at the Augusta National Golf Club in Georgia. That means it's time for the Masters. Gethin Coolbaugh has a preview.
Scotty Scheffler is seeking to accomplish a feat only 8 men before him have achieved. Scheffler will attempt to become the 9th three-time winner at the Masters beginning Thursday at Augusta National.
I'm feeling good, ready to roll.
The world's #1 golfer is the defending and 2022 winner at one of the sport's most prestigious events.
I really try not to look too much into the past. I try not to look too far into the future. I just like to stay in the present.
Scheffler is a 9-2 favorite to earn his first win of the season, according to BetMGM Sportsbook. World #2 Rory McIlroy has the second best odds to complete the career Grand Slam with his third win of the season at 13-2.
Looking forward to getting this thing going on Thursday.
Colin Morikawa is at 14-1, while John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau are both at 16-1. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
And I'm Ben Thomas, AP News. Thank you for listening.
Number 14,
It's a great day to be up 3-0. I'll tell you that. It probably is not great to be down 3-0.
I'm Brad Rosala, and I'm the owner for Commonwealth Communications.
And I am Jojo Alipuzu. I am the owner of Island Image and Ocean.
And this is our joint venture, Sideline Studios. This whole concept that we have of doing all these live stream productions and covering news and doing live shows and everything, it wouldn't happen if we didn't have a great partner like IT&E, someone who could handle the bandwidth and provide it and then get us what we need when we need it and then be a real partner for us for all the events, whether we're doing live sporting events, broadcasts. All of these things happen because of our partnership with IT&E.
With IT&E providing us with the fiber and point-to-point and even the MBRs, is just a great piece of equipment to use when we're broadcasting our sports, our events, our performances, especially our cultural performances. And it's just great to share our culture here in the Marianas with the world. And IT&E has been there from the get-go.
The thing I like best about working with IT&E is how willing they are to come out and find a solution. Even for Liberation Day, we thought we had a pretty good solution for our live stream setup, and it turns out that we did not have the right setup that we thought we needed. That day, just before the parade, reached out to Paul and said, here's our situation. What do you think? He's like, we're gonna figure this out. While he's sitting there barbecuing, getting ready for the parade to start, he starts burning up the phone lines, calling everybody in IT&E, what can we do, what's the right solution? They left their families to do this stuff and get us the equipment that we needed to broadcast live. That's over and above. That's on a holiday. That's when he was out there spending time with his family.
That's why IT&E is just the best, just really in touch with the people and the community.
I recommend IT&E to everybody. Tell them the options are there and you can choose whoever you want and then figure out what you think is the best. But when you're ready, when you're tired of having your calls disconnected or not having service, then you reach out to the guys from IT&E.
Hey, I'm Coach Derek Cutting, the owner and founder of Laddie Built Fitness. So no matter who you talk to here at Laddie Built, everyone feels that they are part of a family, part of a group of like-minded people. No one feels judged. No one feels like they're being teased or picked on or looked down upon because maybe they don't know what they're doing. They could be brand new and have no idea what they're doing. They might be overweight or really skinny and feel very self-conscious about themselves. But at Laddie Built, nobody judges here. And if you ask anybody here that might be in better shape than you or even not, but has experience in the gym, they will gladly help you through a workout and teach you a few techniques that can help you. So Laddie Built organically from day one, since the boot camp era, has organically grown this fostered environment of community and being a safe place, but a strong work ethic community of people that want to get work done. All I can say is that I put my heart and soul into it from day one. I treated everyone like that at the boot camp from the very, very beginnings, and everyone at the same time would treat each other like that from the boot camp era as well. And as we grew, as we got into a brick and mortar facility, we got bigger and bigger, I feel like people definitely just take this place as a home, as like their brother and sisters are working out next to them, not their enemy or not their competitor, you know? So organically, it's just the vibe here is different. Everyone feels very, very comfortable, and I love the fact that it happened like that.
Hi, I'm Shauna Brenfleck, nurse practitioner and owner of Island Skin Solutions and Wellness Clinic. We are Saipan's only medical spa offering a wide range of services to meet your unique skincare goals. We offer exclusive medical grade skincare products that can only be purchased from a licensed medical professional. We also have the CNMI's only master esthetician who offers new patient consultations that include a mini facial tailored to your needs. Schedule your consultation today to get started on your skincare journey.
Got Medicaid? Paradise Dental's got you covered. Got you covered from the moment you walk in the door with some of Saipan's best smiles. Medicaid covers your fillings, your extractions, and your checkups with no out-of-pocket expense. And Medicaid covers all of your x-rays without any additional costs to you. So remember, if you've got Medicaid, you're covered. Don't wait for a toothache. Call Paradise Dental today. Come here often.
PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
All right, welcome back, Marianas. It is 9:24 in the morning here on Thursday, and we have been busy little bees over here in Good Morning Marianas land. We had some great guests come in from the CNMI Broadband Policy and Development Office. That was pretty cool. Before that, we had DYS and Child Protective Services in here, and my goodness, you think that's good. We got a weather update coming in about 30 seconds as well, because we've got Brandon Aylett ready to make his weekly appearance on this show. We got too much going on today. And you know, funny thing is, too, we actually had a phone call planned this morning. And the folks, we had some folks come in a little bit early. Not a bad thing at all, by the way. And we just went with them first. But we have our chairman for our Board of Education that we're supposed to have on this morning, and it's not his fault. It's our fault, 100%. We're trying to get Code Up to join us this morning, and it just started at the same time we got the DPS folks, or DYS and CPS. So we're gonna see if we can't get him on here a little bit later or tomorrow. But we know that he's working hard and on a mission in Guam, and definitely want to hear all that stuff that he's doing. I mean, he's a pretty active chairman of the board, and he's over there in Guam where they've got this big conference happening, and we'll be happy to have him on and tell us what's going on from his perspective. I mean, he's a hardworking guy. I can't believe how much he's got going on. All right, well, it looks like our man of the hour is going to be good to go, so we're going to give him a call, and I need to get this ready for you guys. We got to get the share screen on so you guys can see that he'll be here with us. Let's see what we got. We're going to open up the display, close that one out. Holy cow, there he is. The man, the myth, the legend. He is with us. Hold on, I'm going to have to adjust our screen a little bit so I can get you on there. Oh, there we go. How about that? That looks great. Right? Is that right? Yes, and I can hear you too. So I think we got all technology working out. Landon Aylett from the tropical, mysterious island of Guam. How's everything going out there, my friend?
That's a rhetorical question, I hope, because it's a lot of things being juggled right now, internally, externally, and across the region. So it's been a busy morning. I'm trying not to be too cynical about things because we've had some phone calls with regional headquarters and national headquarters. And of course, you know, things are in a state of flux, but man, I need something a little stronger than this.
No kidding. Well, we've got that here. If you come on over, we can definitely help you out with that.
Oh my gosh.
You don't even have to buy a plane ticket. You could just build a bridge out of all of your logs and you're good to go.
You know, I hope someday that will happen. We'll see.
All right. Well, so imagine you're not able to share with us everything that was going on with what you were talking about, but I'm sure you could definitely tell us about what's going on with weather.
Yeah, I think if I go into too much detail, I might find myself in an early retirement. So we'll have an offline conversations one of these days.
Well, I mean, if you would have replied to that email on time, you could have. Anyway, I we don't have to joke about that anymore.
It's going to be an interesting 5 points in my email next week. That's all I got to say.
Wow, nice.
But yeah, weather-wise, it doesn't get much better than this. Of course, in the region, this is our off season. Of course, we live in paradise where the weather is mighty fine. You look at the stateside weather conditions where they've had all these severe weather outbreaks, tornado outbreaks, severe weather, hailstorms, and historic flooding. And let me go over to the USA map right now. This is the current situation of all weather watches, warnings, and advisories across the continental United States. It's a much quieter pattern out there across the United States at the moment. But we do have quite a bit of winter weather right across the heartland of the United States in the northern areas where they had freeze warnings and frost warnings for many areas down into the mid-Atlantic coastal areas following all the rain over the last several days. So this is a winter that just doesn't want to give up with snow and freeze warnings everywhere in a lot of places. So it's remarkable to see all that. But for us in the islands, it's pretty slow. This is I like to cut, it's not officially the doldrums because that's when the winds just completely die down. But this is like the doldrums of weather and climate. It's just very remarkably average. This is dry season. The winds aren't doing too much. We've had a lot of slack winds the last couple of days, so it's been very pleasant, but not so much for cooling your house with the breeze when your windows are open. So that's going to be a problem. And I was talking to the Guam Power Authority yesterday. They're concerned about the warmer days ahead, especially when the winds start to ease up. Those trades are great to keep your house cool during the daytime. But nothing much to speak of across the region north of 10 North. There's a lot more action down south across Micronesia where they've had showers and thunderstorms and these pair of circulations. This is the Tuesday map from the regional weather outlook showing that circulation that brought showers to western Yap State and then to Palau, where they had wind gusts of 30 miles per hour. That has since cleared out. We're looking at the live satellite picture now with that circulation now over in this broad area near Son Sural and southern Republic of Palau. Not much to speak of without much drier weather across Palau, but we are watching this cluster of showers and thunderstorms near Ulithi and Yap, where they need some weather. It looks like there might be a little bit of an inflow, a little bit of a circulation, but this is a very small mesoscale type system. Might bring some showers to the Yap. They definitely need the rainfall over there where the drought conditions are worsening, but also for us in Guam and the CNMI, those dry conditions are going to persist well through this week, the weekend, and well into next week. The Saipan Airport just showed some light showers over there in the latest observation, and that's pushing through right there with those showers right over southern Saipan. So not everybody's going to see, especially central and northern parts, but southern Saipan, maybe the northern tip of Tinian, will get those light showers enough to get things wet, and then it's going to move off, give you a little bit of a humid feel, and it's going to dry off again for the rest of the day. So very dry. The drought conditions still rated as severe drought as rated by the U.S. Drought Monitor. That will probably worsen in the next couple weeks. The next level will be D3 or extreme drought. So any reports, impacts that people want to share there, share it with me on Facebook or WhatsApp if you have my information, or also with the National Weather Service. You can reach us anytime 24/7. Pass along your reports because we want to know what's going on with the vegetation up there. Are there any spot fires, wildfires? Because all that information I collect and send that to the U.S. Drought Monitor for their weekly assessment. And so the dry conditions, that will be around for quite a while. That might be a little bit of a concern as the fire danger is rated as high for the Guam where we keep those records. And that's representative also the CNMI at this time. But when the winds pick up, we're going to see a little bit more wind later in this weekend. That can make any kind of spot fires that do form, people burning embers or they set off a spark, that could spread into a wildfire. And with the stronger winds, that could be more problematic. So keep that in mind. Keep your flames snuffed. Don't start an outdoor fire. Don't burn. Don't throw out your cigarette butts out of the car window when you're driving, because something that simple could ignite a fire.
Yeah, man, and that's no cheap trick. Remember, after the fire, after all the rain, that's the lyrics for the song anyway. Man, I'll tell you what, we just got report. You mentioned this, but our local on-the-ground aspiring weatherman, Tobat Castro, gave us their weather report saying that it just did rain in Dan Dan, in the village of Dan Dan.
Yeah, we like those reports. And also, it's important to note, we did put out a beach hazard statement yesterday. That's for Portuguese Manowar. We had an email. Someone emailed us stating that they were stung here on Guam along one of the eastern locations. And so I was kind of surprised because usually they come surging in when you have this trade wind surging across the area, and their bodies or whatever the bubbles, they get caught in the wind and they just move up on shore. And so the winds have been very light lately, but they are still out there. So be careful, especially on eastern exposures, on those windward exposures. They can sweep up on the beach into the reef area. So if you're going to be out there, I think it's Tink Beach, watch out for that. Just keep an eye on the stand. Make sure you don't step on those because they are still out and about. And so we do have that beach hazard statement now through Thursday or this afternoon. So be careful, be mindful. And if you see something, give us a call. We want to hear your reports.
Well, you know, Tank Beach, Marine Beach, down there at Forbidden Island, if you're taking a hike down on that side, you got Lau Lau. Although I will say, I don't know if they get hung up on the reef, because I really haven't seen a lot on Lau Lau, like on the beach over there, whether it's the dive
Correct.
site or where we normally just do like spot by the beach.
Yeah, and I definitely want to reiterate, giving us your reports. If you see something, give us a call, because it was this one guy that got stung yesterday on Guam. And because of that report, we were able to know the conditions out there and put out a hazard statement for the general awareness of the public. So your reports matter. They do make a difference, and they help us in operations, because everyone out there is our boots on the ground. There are eyes and ears to what things are happening across the islands.
Hey, not only did we get a weather report from him, but Tobat said that you are the Lincoln Log Gangsta. I love that. And Michael McElroy is saying, hey, he's saying good morning, and that this weather stuff is outstanding and very informative. So you got a lot of folks. I mean, you already get that from most of us anyway, but you're just giving you a little bit of feedback of how valuable this stuff is and how much we really appreciate you coming on and joining us.
Yes, and this has been a passion of mine for at least a good decade, especially in the last 5 years when I came into this specific position, is that we really need to bump up our communication strategy from the National Weather Service, because unlike our counterparts in the States, every city, they have television stations and they all have their own meteorology department with meteorologists that communicate night and day. So they're putting out information to the public that people can understand. We don't have that out here. And so if the Weather Service isn't communicating, then who is? And getting it from a weather app on the phone doesn't do it justice, because that's enough information to get the common user in trouble with what they're interpreting. And so we are here to decipher the gibberish in the weather models, to put out the best available forecast, and to communicate trends, themes, and maybe some anticipatory actions for coming seasonal changes, whether it's tropical cyclone season, which is right around the corner, or emerging drought and wildfire dangers. And so that's what we're here for.
Well, I really appreciate that. We've got good news, but it makes us kind of busy, so we're going to have to head out here pretty soon. Just to give you a heads up, it looks like we're going to have some visitors coming to the island pretty soon. And so I have to get out of here and go to a meeting that is all about the arrival of these visitors who are coming. They're not from outer space.
I hope you have a good time.
Yeah, they're not those kind of visitors.
We'll
yes,
see about that.
We'll have to live long and prosper for sure. Landon, really appreciate it. I know it was later than what we had initially planned, but man, we had some back-to-back great info with some of the guests that came in studio today, and it certainly was a highlight.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. And so have a great time with the visitors over there, and we will see you next week or sooner if something happens.
Man, I'll tell you what, I'd almost want to call you back again, because I saw your post. I just can't talk about it now because we don't have enough time. But like, I saw your post, and it was really exciting stuff. Got me excited for what's coming up with your Tower for Humanity stuff.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
All right, great. Hey, thanks so much for joining us, Landon. That's Landon Aylett, our coolest meteorologist that we've ever met in our entire lives. That's right. Take that, all you local weathermen in other TV districts and stuff like that. This is the guy who's taking care of the Marianas from Guam all the way up to here in the CNMI, and we're really quite thankful for it. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it. We're going to wrap the show with that in mind because we got to go. I got a pre-arrival meeting to go to, so I got to hurry up and get myself down to CPA so that we can get all this info and get it to you guys. I want to say thanks to you guys for tuning in today, and we will be back again tomorrow morning with Good Morning Marianas. Anything else happens later today, we'll be there for that too. But in the meantime, we got to hurry up and get down to the seaport. Ooh, exciting stuff. All right, you guys, have a great one. We'll see you in about 24 hours or less. We got a lot of new stuff to update you on. We'll be posting here throughout the day. Thanks to everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. day, Tirawamian greetings to Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your other news from a beautiful place with Pacific views, it's always so much fun on Good Morning Mariana.